There's tons of videos on the gates of Edgehill on the north coast of Jamaica, and we were wondering, why is this development still selling units in phase 1 3 years later? Well, today we're giving our take on what they're not telling you. Let's go.
Let's do this, baby. Hey family, Wagwan, what is up you guys? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Kemar.
And I'm Tanya.
And we're the Bonnicks. And we're here with another video, guys. Don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button.
So if you've been following our channel, then you know that we are on a quest to find a home in Jamaica. So we're looking for a second home / vacation home / Airbnb when we're not in Jamaica. And when we were in Jamaica back in December, January timeframe, we were in Jamaica for the holidays. We looked at a couple of developments, and one of the communities that we really liked and we really kept coming back to was the Gates of Edgehill. We really like the style and the design of the homes. They're very modern looking, almost like something you would find in the US. We like the community, we like the area, we like the development and the amenities that they had to offer. So we decided to put a bid in on one of the lots. But after going through the contract with our attorney, unfortunately, we decided to not move forward with the purchase. And so today we just kind of want to talk a little bit about what we found were maybe some red flags or reasons that this development is still selling in phase 1 almost 3 years later. So first, let's take a look at our video, House Hunting in Jamaica, which reached almost 40,000 views. This is a video that we showed the property, Gates of Edgehill in. So let's take a look at the property first. Yeah, you even have a card. Yeah, I like those. Uh-huh. That's okay. But I still like how it's open.
So as you guys can see, the houses are really beautiful. We really like them. And we did put a bid in on one of the houses. But unfortunately, we're not moving forward. And we're going to share some of our reasons why.
So we have our contract here, and we're just going to kind of go through some of the things that really just kind of stood out at us when we were going through the contract with our attorney that we consider kind of like red flags or things that just kind of make you go, I wonder if this is why this development has not sold out, why they're still selling units in phase 1 3 years later. There's supposed to be 3 phases with an estimated completion date of December 2023, but they've been building for 3 years when all other developments in Jamaica are selling out before they even have a model home ready. So we just wondered like, I wonder if this is the reasons why this community is still selling. So we're just gonna jump right into it. The first thing that stood out to us that we didn't like was that the purchase money had to be made in US dollars. So as you guys know, Kemar is a Jamaican, and he would be considered a returning resident. I have my TRN, so of course we want to buy a home in Jamaican dollars. The Jamaican dollar doesn't fluctuate, it's going to remain the same, and it's better for us if we can purchase in Jamaican dollars. So that was kind of like the first thing that really just kind of stood out to us and was like, that's not really a red flag that would turn somebody away, especially if it's somebody like an overseas buyer. But it was one thing for us that made us think like, that's not really in, our best interest to buy a home in US dollars.
Yes.
So the next thing was the deposit. You want to talk about the deposit?
Yes, baby.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and talk about that.
All right.
So, when you're buying a house in Jamaica, the norm you would put down is like 10% deposit. But this developer is asking for 20%. So first, when you sign the contract, you got to put down like 10%, right, baby? Then after 60 days, you have to put down another 5%. And then after 90 days, you got to put down another 5%. So in all, that's the 20% right there, guys.
Yeah, so just to clarify, when you sign your initial contract, you put down 10% deposit.
Yes.
60 days after that, you put down another 5%, and then 30 days after that, which is really 90 days from the initial signing, you have to put down another 5%.
Yes.
So that's going to be a total of 20%. So as he said, typically when you buy a house in Jamaica, you would normally put down 10%. That's the standard. The bank is more than likely going to finance 90%, and you have to put down 10%, but they're requiring you to put down 20%.
Yes.
And the only two reasons that I could think that they would require you to put down 20% is, one, that they're cash poor, and maybe they need, funds to finish building the houses. Because when we were looking back at these homes, we had a friend, Kimar has a friend that lives in Ocho Rios, who actually went up and met the realtor and called us on video call so that we could view the property. And I noticed that the property looked kind of neglected a little bit. So the house basically looked finished, but there were just some few minor touches that needed to be done with the house.
Yes. This is the front part.
So this is a partition from flat 5 and 6. It's the fencing. So walking on the side. Washroom for lot 5. This is the back veranda. So on this side, they say you're allowed to can put a wall there too, or you can run another fencing like on the other side. So this is 32. So it's unfinished.
your mother work here. No finish.
No. So this 73. So these lot size are a little bit bigger than normal. 73. So we have bigger lot space on this side. And for this one, 72. We have bigger lot space around the house. So these lots are the corner lots, so you get more space. And so maybe the price look different for a bigger lot space. So this will be the backyard. This is the side. The garage.
I tell him, but he has to know that these lots will cost more because it's a bigger lot.
Yeah.
So as you can see, the house is pretty much done. It's finished. It's together. But there's a few minor touches that need to be completed. And I mentioned to the realtor that the houses look a bit neglected. So I was wondering, if they're going to clean up the property and, so forth. And he came back and said, yes, they're going to clean it up, before they hand it over to you. So it'll be move-in ready. But with that, we noticed that they still have a lot of lots available that are for sale. And so that was just one of the things that crossed my mind is like, I wonder if they're cash poor and they actually need money to finish building the development. I don't have any proof of that, so that's not really a fact. That's just my theory. The other thing I was thinking is that they're looking for like cash buyers for, to buy the homes, because basically, I think that they're selling this development as an investment community. One of the things that they have listed on their website is an investor's package. And in that package, there's a fee. I believe it's called like a home sharing management fee or home management sharing fee, something to that effect. And it's about $560 or $65 US per month. That's per month. So if you intend to buy this home and you're an investor and you're going to solely rent it out as an Airbnb, then you're going to be required to pay that fee of almost $600 US per month. So that's my other theory, is that maybe they're looking for cash buyers for the house. So they're requiring you to put a little bit more money down, and maybe they're using that money to complete the development. But again, I don't have any proof, but it was just another red flag for us that we would have to put down 20%. When you're buying a house in Jamaica, you got to have some money.
Yes.
So 10% cash. The house that we were looking at was $239,000 US dollars.
Yes.
So you're talking right around $24,000 in cash for the 10% deposit.
And they did have like two different houses on the lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the other house, which was a little bit larger,
Yes.
was actually selling for $299,000. So now you're talking almost $30,000
And what's the
US
name of
dollars
them?
for the
That was
deposit.
the Diana.
Yeah. So we were looking at the Diana,
Yes.
and then the larger home was called the Elizabeth.
The Elizabeth.
Yes.
Okay.
So
baby.
yeah. So yeah, that was kind of a red flag that, wow, like you have to put down 20%. And the reason that was a red flag to us is because in the contract, it states that they still require a letter of undertaking from the bank at 60 days. So when you pay that deposit 60 days after you sign the contract, they're still requiring that you provide a letter of undertaking from your bank, basically saying that, you know, you're going to get the money to finance the mortgage. So in the conversation with the attorney, it was just kind of like, why would they still require you to pay an extra 10% if they have this letter saying that you're basically going to be financing this mortgage? So we would eventually get that 10% back on the back end, because the mortgage would finance for 90, the bank would finance the mortgage for 90%. So we would get that 10% back, but it was just like, why do you have to pay an extra 10% if
you're gonna even
if you still have to, if you still have to have the letter?
Yes.
You know, because normally you put down your deposit, then 60 days later, you have a letter from the bank saying, yes, you're going to get this mortgage. But if we have the letter, why do we still have to put down the extra 10%? Like, why do they need that money? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was the second thing that kind of stood out to us.
So the next thing that stands out to us was the certificate of title. So they were supposed to send the certificate of title with the contract, but they sent the contract and didn't send the certificate of title. And our attorney requested from the developers, and they didn't even respond.
Right. They didn't even respond at all. They didn't send it. They didn't respond. And after the fact, when the realtor asked, you know, why did we decide we weren't going to move forward? And I kind of told him some of the things that stood out to us. And I told him, you know, like, they never did even send the title. So he said, okay, I'm going to go and check on those things for you. And he talked to the developer, and he came back and he said, well, they said that they would, you know, provide the title after you sign the contract. Well, that doesn't make sense, because the title should be supplied with the contract so that the attorney can do her research to make sure that, you know, the title is good.
Yes.
So, and one of the things that the realtor stated also, maybe, you know, in their defense, he was kind of trying to take up for him. He said that, you know, they maybe have a title for the development, but some of the homes may not actually have like individual titles. Okay. But when he sent us the plans, where, you remember when we picked out the lot that we wanted?
Yes.
Before Shamar went up there?
Yes.
Yeah, when we picked out the lot, it said that this lot, lot 5, which is the lot we were interested in, had a title. It said it was titled.
Yes.
But they never supplied the title. And then the other part along with the title was the surveyor's ID report and the evaluation. So basically they had somebody who would do the surveyor's ID report and the valuation, and the contract states that you would get that on the end when everything is complete. But of course we need the title, the surveyor's ID report, as well as the valuation to even apply for the mortgage. So when I presented that to the realtor and he discussed it with the developer, they came back and said, oh, you'll get that after you sign the contract. But of course, we need those things to apply for the mortgage. And also the contract states that we would get those things on the end. So for them to come back and say you would get those once you sign the contract, that's not what the contract says. So once you sign the contract, you're agreeing that you're going to get those things on the end. So, and maybe that's another reason why they're looking for cash buyers as well, you know, because maybe they can supply that on the end if you're a cash buyer. I don't know, because I don't know that process. We don't have cash like that. So another thing that was a red flag was in the video, you could tell that the properties were a bit neglected. And so I asked the realtor about like the landscaping, and he came back and said, yes, you know, they're going to do the landscaping. If you even watch some of the videos that are on YouTube, you know, everyone's saying like, yes, it's going to be nice. They're going to do all of the landscaping. They're going to divide the properties with like shrubbery and make it look really nice. Well, the contract says the landscaping doesn't have to be complete until the development is complete. until the entire development is complete. So they're building 3 phases, phase 1, 2, and 3, and it's scheduled to be completed December of 2023. But the contract also states that that date can be extended. So you might have this house and they're not going to do the landscaping until they're completely finished with the development, which is really kind of like a no-go to me. If we want to rent it out as an Airbnb, we of course want the house to look nice. So that means we would have to put in work to make it look nice, because they're not going to do it until they're completed with the development.
Yes.
So
most of the fees in the contract fall on the purchaser, right? And one of those fees in the contract is for their attorney to prepare the bylaws for the homeowners association.
right. So there's a $167 fee that is non-refundable for their attorney to, as he said, prepare the bylaws. So there's a homeowners association, and you basically have to pay, the homeowners fee each month, which was like $123 and some change. There's a one-time initial payment of $300, and then there's the $167 fee for the attorney to prepare the bylaws, which are already written and stated in the contract. The bylaws are included in the contract, but the fee is non-refundable. And even though it's a small amount, it's like, why would we have to bear the cost of that if we decided not to go forward with the contract? We're not participating in, we're not a part of the homeowners association, we didn't live in the house, we're not a part of the community. So why would we have to pay that non-refundable fee? And I don't know if that's something that's standard for most developers, but that was just something to me that was just like, there's a lot of fees in here that, we bear the cost of, and a lot of them are non-refundable.
A lot of them.
Yes. So you're not only coming out of, the deposit or, whatever, there's a lot of fees that you have to pay as well, that if you decide not to go forward, those fees are non-refundable. So, and I guess something like that would be standard in most contracts, but that $167 fee, although it's not a lot, it still kind of stood out like, why would we have to pay that and not be able to get that money back? Well, first of all, why would we have to pay for their attorney to prepare the bylaws?
Crazy.
So that's something that should come with the contract, but it is what it is. The next thing was that really kind of stood out to me was that it sounded like they didn't even really have like all of the approval that they needed from the parish of St. Mary to move forward. And this is probably a big reason why, they might even still be developing the community or, still selling and still building. So the contract says, as soon as is practicable, after completion of the buildings comprised in the project, the vendor will basically supply the plans to the St. Mary Municipal Corporation for approval. So this agreement is subject to the vendor obtaining subdivision approval from the St. Mary Municipal Corporation. So basically it's saying that they still have some approval that they need to get from the parish of St. Mary. So that was kind of like a big one, like, wait a minute, so, 9 times out of 10, they have a whole development sitting up on top of the hill. So I think they have the okay, but that was just something that stood out to us. And they weren't really like willing to like discuss or negotiate anything like in the contract. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was just kind of like the contract is what it is. It states what it states. And even when the realtor tried to go back, and kind of negotiate some things, they wasn't really. The only thing they were willing to negotiate was the surveyor ID report and the valuation. They said that we could have somebody independently do those 2 things for us.
Yes.
Because it was kind of like a red flag, like, for them to have somebody do the surveyor ID report and the valuation, because that's going to be, of course, somebody who's going to write or rule in their favor,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they already have somebody to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those were kind of some of the things that just really stood out to us. And we just kind of wondered, like, is this why this development is still selling up here? And, like I said, there's a lot of videos on YouTube, on the internet, different pages, different realtors selling properties up there. And we were like, these are some of the things that they're not really discussing. I mean, I don't know, I mean, I guess it doesn't make sense that they would tell you these things, but the 20% down, that's something you would need to know if you're looking to buy a house up there. Having to purchase in US dollars, that's something you would need to know if you're looking to buy a house up there. And they're not really stating these things on those videos. They're just selling this community like, oh, this is a beautiful community, it's gated, it's this, it's that. And it is. It's all of that.
Yes.
But it's just still some things that they're not really being totally honest about either. And really, like, one of the big things, like the really deciding factor for us, was the lack of communication from the developer. So I'll let you talk about that though.
Okay. So basically the non-communication was a big factor, and it was really a big issue for us. Like, we're talking about so much money that we got to spend, and it's like they wasn't communicating. We have to be chasing them down to spend our money when it should be going the other way. They should be chasing us down to spend so many money, you know what I mean? And the attorney, when we decided that we wasn't moving forward, the attorney, what did the attorney do?
Well, first when she asked for the title, they didn't respond. They didn't even respond. Then when we met with her and we went through the agreement, and then she went back to them and told them, we didn't get the title. You guys never responded. And so we went through the contract, and my client has decided not to move forward.
Yes.
They didn't respond.
Yes, they didn't respond. And then the realtor was saying to us, like, they see the message, but they didn't acknowledge it. They didn't respond and said, okay, you know what I mean? So the realtor was like, if we decide to move forward or something, we could let him know, and he will let them know. But he was saying they already gave up lot 5 that we wanted. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how they just gonna give up lot 5 like that without even
communicating back to us? They just gave it to the next person that was interested in that particular lot, so they say.
Yeah, so they didn't communicate nothing about that. They received the message and just moved forward and gave away the lot that we interested in.
Yeah, and on top of that, we paid $1,000 reservation fee to reserve that lot.
Yes.
And
that was
non-refundable
as well.
Yeah.
So they didn't refund back that $1,000.
Which we knew.
Well.
We knew that we
Yes.
wouldn't get that back, that was a non-refundable fee.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like...
That was real shady, yo.
Yeah, you didn't respond when we
Yes.
requested the title. You didn't respond, after... And of course, if we say we're not moving forward, then I could see where they would say that's the end, okay, we don't need to communicate back with these people, but you didn't even respond when she requested the title, and then you acknowledged it. The realtor said they see the messages, they got the messages, they didn't even respond.
I wonder how much people they do that to, though, and how much $1,000 they just make like
yes,
that.
How many $1,000 non-refundable reservation fees are they getting from people who are not following through once they read the contract?
Yes. So I think and we was there in December again, and we keep reaching out, and that time they have a big discount, like $10,000.
So the homes were cheaper in December when we were trying to look at them.
Yes, and we keep on trying to reach out, and I guess they have some local numbers with the WhatsApp. WhatsApp message, if you guys know what WhatsApp is. And it's a app that you could text through and send picture, videos, and so forth. So they was keep on receiving our text and the check mark.
Yeah, so basically if you know about WhatsApp, when you send a message, it'll have like a double check mark once the message goes through and the receiver receives it. Once they view it, if they have that setting on, it'll turn blue so that you can see that they read the message. So we
Yes.
were sending them messages back in December. We tried to go up and view the property like 3 times. Each time we went up
And we
there.
was coming from all the way in
Spanish Town.
coming
Yeah.
to Ocheria. That's a long drive, and we keep on off the.
Yeah, each time we went up there, the security guard would say, you know, well, there's nobody here to view it. Come back on Monday, come
Yes.
back on Wednesday. And each time we drove all the way back from Spanish Town, there was still nobody there. So we were messaging them and saying like, hey, like we keep going up here. We're interested. We're trying to see this property.
And they was sending us up there, saying
Yeah,
that sending
somebody
us up
would be
there.
there.
Somebody would be there, but no one would be there. But no
They
one
see the
was
messages
there.
though, and they wouldn't even respond.
And finally, when we go back to Ocheria, and then we did get to go into the community.
It was like another security guy, maybe a younger guy there.
Yes.
He actually let us in to see the property.
Yes, and
So-
it was not like a professional person that know about the property to take us around and tell us about the property. The security got to take us around himself. So the security just knows so much. He don't know a lot, you know, and he just take us around, and he was
shared
just
what he could.
and he shared what he could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it
That was kind of
just-
like a big red flag too,
Yes.
because and really that probably should have been the first red flag that
Yes.
made us think like something ain't
Yes.
right. But we really like these houses. We really like
Yes.
the area, the development, the price was right. You know, so we were like, okay, well, you know how Jamaicans are. You know, they're slow to communicate. You know,
Yes.
everything about Jamaica is slow. And so we just kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt, you know.
Yes. And we should have looked into it as well, because when we was there, we looked at more than one places. Was it Happy Cove? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when
we
you
really
go
like
there,
Happy Cove,
yeah, we
too.
really do. But when you go there, they didn't even finish build the model homes. Nothing. And the property was all sold out.
Yeah, they
You
had
know?
a waiting list and they hadn't even finished the model home.
They haven't even
so that
finished
should
the
have been
model
like
home.
a ping as well, like
Yes.
ding, ding, ding.
And then, as you say, 3 years after, Edgehill, Gates of Edgehill is still on their
Still
first.
selling in the first phase. They
Yes.
still have plenty of units or lots available.
Yes.
Yeah, so so that was a big factor as well.
Yes.
That, you know, just the lack of communication. Even the realtor, you know, once we said that we weren't going to move forward, the realtor said, okay, yeah, you know, that's a really big issue for a lot of people. He had some other clients who were actually buying a property in Edgehill, and they had already paid their deposit, and they say that that's a big factor for them. Like the developer is slow or non-responsive when it comes to communication, and they really didn't like that. So
Yes.
that is a huge, huge factor in them not, you know, selling those properties.
For me, I think they're using that $1,000 deposit as a scamming, because if they get $1,000 or they get so many money from you and then you ain't buying the house, that person still gotta pay the full money. Say suppose the house was going for 40,000, they already get $1,000 from you, so that's gonna be. If somebody else come and get it, it's gonna be 41,000.
Right.
So they're really making an extra
Yeah.
$1,000 here and there and there. So I think that they just using
So it's
that.
a win-win for them.
Yeah, it's always a win-win for them. So I think they're using that $1,000 deposit down.
Yeah, as you guys
As a-
say, they have
as
a
a
style.
scamming.
They have,
Yeah.
how do you guys say?
They
style.
must style them, man. They must style them.
Yeah. So it's just something definitely.
It's business. It's business though, but they ain't doing it right though. They shady though.
Yeah, something is definitely not right with the developer and with this community. It's a lovely community, so I don't
Very
really want to
beautiful.
I want to put the disclaimer out there that, you know, we're not trying to like badmouth them, but we're just wondering if.
As in, again, we're not trying to bash them, you know?
Yeah, but we're
Yes.
just wondering like if this is the reason why they're still selling. And I would really, really be interested in knowing, like, if anybody watches this video and they say, you know what, I was looking there too, but this is what made me not move forward. You know,
Yes.
because it's a really nice community. It's a really nice development. The homes are very, very sturdy.
So
you know,
if there's anybody out there was viewing them house up in Gates of Edgehill in St. Mary, let us know down in the comment section if you move forward or why you guys didn't move forward.
Yeah, we would really like to know that, because like I said, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about this development, but we just kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that are not being said, and we just wonder if this is why the development is still selling in phase 1 again 3 years later.
Yes.
So, but anyway, so that's our video, and those are the things that, you know, made us not move forward.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we are back to square one with looking for a house in Jamaica. And I'm not going down to Jamaica because I don't have a house to go live in.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, if you watched our last video, I'm leaving my Jamaican husband in the U.S. and I'm moving to Jamaica. Guys, I'm stuck here. So yeah, we're back to square one with looking for a house, and we'll just keep searching until we find that one property that's really going to be our second home. So anyway, if you guys like the video, hit the like button.
Hit it.
Drop a comment.
Drop it.
Share it.
Share that video.
And subscribe. Hit the subscribe button.
Guys.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.